Some call it a cruel massacre. Others term it a heroic last stand. Some argue it was the ultimate sacrifice that helped to inspire the Americans to victory in the Texas-American War. All of it may be up for debate. But what we do know is that the Battle of the Alamo was a pivotal event in Texas Revolution, and its legacy continues to live on in American minds today. In our second episode of our Wild West season, we'll dive into the Texas Revolution, the legendary characters defending the Alamo, and the bloody last Battle of the Fort. Get ready for some fighting, folks, because I'm Jake Storielli, and this is Laughs from the Past.
Welcome back to Laughs from the Past, Season 8, Episode 2, The Wild West. That was Jake with the intro. It was beautifully done. I really liked how you got whistly on your S's. Didn't know that you could do that, but it was a really, really good little, tiny hint, Jake, into the accent. You didn't lay it on too thick, but it was there.
It was common. It was common in San Antonio. I was doing my research back in the day that they'd whistle a little on the S's, so...
You've done research on accents in the past. Is that real? Was that real or fake?
Oh, for sure, no.
Okay.
For sure, no.
Back when we started, you would do you would listen to accents and stuff.
I used to do a reminder if I couldn't find it. But yeah, no, that's just how they spoke.
Little whistle on the S. It's awesome. Yeah. Well, welcome back. Are you excited to talk about the Alamo?
I am. I've been to San Antone. It was a brief stay. Interesting little city. I did have someone while I was there tell me, I was like, yeah, I'm from the north. Grew up in Connecticut, but I live in Dallas now. So, and he's like, oh no, boy, anything north of San Antone is the north. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, welcome to the planet. So. Yeah, and it's cool stories. You said we did a Davy Crockett episode, King of the Wild Frontier.
So, we did. It was historical mysteries. It was, did Davy Crockett actually die, or did he commit suicide, or it was like, did he go out heroic, or did he just get killed? So we did some Alamo talking back into season 3, I think. Long time ago. Long enough that Jake doesn't remember any of it. So that's good.
No.
Yeah. Alamo's cool. I like the movie The Alamo. I don't think it got good results from the critics nor the audiences, but I liked it. I thought it was good.
I watched a similar movie to that this weekend, Bombshell.
Oh, the Fox News one?
Yeah.
I watched the first half of that, and then I hate that style of movie, so I had to get out of there.
What's the style?
Like fake documentary, breaking the fourth wall nonstop. The Big Short did it, and then it's all Adam McKay, who made movies with Will Ferrell. It's like his new style that he's doing. Big Short, and then Vice with about the vice president. I didn't realize. What's that?
And it grinds your gears.
Yeah. No, I just it's tacky to me. It's like, just make a good movie. We don't need all these gimmicks. So I got out. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Nice. It's Charlize Theron basically became Megyn Kelly. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Nice. All right, let's get started on this episode of The Alamo, written by Noah Prince. Thank you, Noah. Here's some background for you, Jake. It's February of 1836 in San Antonio de Bexar, which is present-day San Antonio. Why'd they have to add the whole ending there? San Antonio of Bexar?
I'm guessing that's what it's called. We can roll with San Antonio from here on out.
Okay, thank you. As it stands, the city is still technically Mexican Texas. However, the past 3 months, Texians have driven all Mexican troops out of the region. Let's take a look to familiarize ourselves with how this area looked at the time. Big for anyone that watches on YouTube. We have the map here, Jake. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like, Texas is split in half, and East Texas, the Alamo's right in the middle. That's probably why the battle happened here.
It's a good guess. Educated.
Disputed territory. Mexico went all the way up to Vancouver at this time.
Mexican Texas is, well, there's probably still a lot of people that still call it that.
Sure. All right. So, why were Texians rebelling against the Mexican government? Well, a year earlier, under President Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, badass. They enacted the 7 laws. These were a series of far-reaching constitutional changes that fundamentally altered the organizational structure of Mexico by centralizing and strengthening the national government. After a decade of political turmoil and economic stagnation, conservatives concluded that a better path for Mexico was centralized power. I was trying to say a word I can't say.
Okay.
Utilitarianism government.
One more time for it, just in case we missed it.
What is it?
Totalitarianism or something like that?
Utilitarianism.
Still no from you.
Utilitarianism.
I mean, that's no.
I got it. That was it.
Okay.
Anyway, the new policies and the increased enforcement of immigration laws and import tariffs incited many immigrants to revolt. Texans who were accustomed to extensive individual rights and unmolested economic activity, aka the Wild West. A lot of people moved there because it was the Wild West and there's no laws and stuff. And then Mexico was like, actually, like, you're under our control, so you have to obey by our laws. And they were like, no, we don't. We moved here so we didn't have to do that. Mexico was technically in the right as far as I'm concerned as of now. But so that's kind of what was happening. So they were, quote, quite vocal in their displeasure at the shift towards centralism under Mexican government. In October of 1835, Texans engaged Mexican troops in the first official battle of the Texas Revolution. Determined to quell the rebellion of immigrants, Santa Anna began assembling a large force, the Mexican Army of Operations in Texas. That's too long of a name.
Yeah, all the names here suck, man. I mean, Mexican Texas, or what is it? Yeah, Mexican Texas. That's brutal. We already eliminated whatever San Antonio was. For a second there, I was digging back in to the president, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, a.k.a. Palza, making sure he was on the right side of this. So, yeah, it's, I'll be honest, tough to keep up with from the start.
Well, the Mexican Army of Operations in Texas, MAOT. Mayotte. Mat. Bad name. It's the Mexican Army. Anyway,
Yeah.
So this brings us to the Alamo. When Mexican troops departed San Antonio, Texan soldiers captured the Mexican garrison at the Alamo Mission, a former Spanish religious outpost which had been converted to a makeshift fort by the recently expelled Mexican army. So the Mexican army was stationed in the Alamo, which was an old Spanish religious outpost, and then the Texan soldiers captured the garrison at the Alamo. And we have a little picture of it here that we can throw on, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you got just a big empty field, walls all on the outside. You got a horse pen, which is huge, cannons all on the walls, a lot of stairs. How many cannons does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then is this like a giant basement in the top right?
Looks like we got one rogue cannon that's just kind of in the middle near a staircase there. Forts are cool, right?
Yeah, this cannon, You can't see my mouse, but see where the
Yeah.
hospital and the horse pen, that little corner,
Yeah.
that cannon, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Seems a lot like they're firing on their own with that one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a replacement cannon, and then if one busts, there's two guys manning that one that wheel it into the spot.
It's just really odd they put it in this graphic at all. Because it doesn't seem like it's in a militaristic position. Our question.
Wait, hold on. What if when the Mexicans come across the wall, then you have that cannon to fire on them?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather use that to keep them out, but that's why I was never a general back then.
It's true.
I mean, do you like being in the fort? Is there a level of safety, or is it like, no, because this is where they want to attack, but the place is built to shield attacks? I don't know. That's kind of messing with my brain.
No, I'd want nothing to do with being in this place because you can get attacked from 360, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even if you have cannons pointed every which way, you still would only like them to be able to enter from one way and all the cannons face that way.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, in theory, you have an army working for you that has another side or something. But yeah, I guess I'm good not being there, especially with what's coming up.
Yeah, I get that where it is, like on the border and all that is important, but it doesn't seem like easy to defend. It seems hard to defend. It seems easier to capture than to defend.
Being in a fort would be a blast if you had like a pathetic enemy.
Yes.
Like they attack twice a year and like one person dies.
Yeah. This is like Zombieland, where like you can fight off the first wave. No way you fight off the second.
Yeah.
Okay. The Alamo, Zombieland, same shit. Sure. Described by Santa Anna as an irregular fortification hardly worthy of the name. Okay. So I'm on Santa Anna's side.
Yeah.
The Alamo had been designed to withstand an attack by native tribes, not artillery-equipped army. So that's what we were saying. So you were saying, if you have someone that's not equipped to attack this, it's awesome. Despite this, Colonel James Bowie delivered the location believed. Wow. Straight up just wrong word by me. He believed the location held strategic importance. In a letter to the Texas Provisional Government, he wrote, do you want to read this in your Texas accent?
The salvation of Texas depends in great measure on keeping Bexar, the city where the Alamo was, out of the hands of the enemy. It serves as the frontier picket guard, and if it were in possession of Santa Anna, there is no stronghold from which to repel him in his march towards the Sabine, important river makings where U.S. federal powder began. Colonel Neal and myself have come to the solemn resolution that we will rather die in these ditches than give it up to the enemy.
Okay, so I'm scared of people from Texas in general because listen to the accent you're giving them. That's scary.
Right.
And I have the great pleasure of hindsight.
Yes.
Because they do take over the Alamo. They don't win the war. So did fucking Bowie just kill everyone out of his dumbness? Is that what this means?
Yeah.
We don't need this. They can take the Alamo and we can still win the war. If someone said that, which I think Sam Houston tried to, they would have been like, cool, let him have it. Come back.
Yeah. Retreat.
Yeah. So,
but hey, Jim, they, there's allegations that this motivated people to win or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Davy Crockett,
Yeah. I think, you have some real good marketing people involved here.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
All right. So Bowie also wrote, well, I think I had a picture of Bowie. I'll bring it up soon and we can judge if we like him or not just by one picture of him. Bowie also wrote to the provisional government asking for men, money, rifles, and cannon powder. Few reinforcements were authorized. A small group of volunteers arrived, including the famous frontiersman and former Congressman David Crockett of Tennessee. On February 11th, Neal left the Alamo, determined to recruit additional reinforcements and gather supplies. He transferred command to Travis, the highest-ranking regular army officer in the garrison. Volunteers comprised much of the garrison, and they were unwilling to accept Travis as their leader. Yeah, they didn't like him.
Yeah.
The men instead elected Bowie, who had a reputation as a fierce fighter, as their commander. Bowie celebrated by getting very intoxicated and creating havoc in the city of Bexar. To mitigate the resulting ill feelings, Bowie agreed to share command with Travis. So this Bowie dude does seem kind of just like a giant dummy.
Let me see. Bowie wins the election, gets drunk, and then shares the power? No, I'm on his side.
Classic case of you elect your best friend to be the leader, like the fun guy that plays poker with the troops, and then you elect him because you're like, no, we like him. He gets what we're all about. And then as soon as he gets the power, he does what you liked about him, and you're like, ah, shit. Yeah, maybe we do need like a leader and not a friend.
Yeah, but Bowie does the right thing. I mean, how often does this story end with Bowie saying, yeah, I'll share the command with Travis so I can be the nice guy here. And yeah, Travis will do all the actual stuff we need. Normally it ends with disaster right then.
I have Bowie very reluctantly, like hungover, and the troops are like, hey, that's not why we elected you.
Oh, see, no. I have him going, oh, this is a great call. You guys are making the right decision. Yeah.
Do you want to take a look at the two of them? Here's what we got. Bowie on the left. And these pictures tell a big story. The guy with the big knife in front of him, that's not a real leader. That's a guy that wants to look tough.
That's just rude. I mean, you take one nice picture with a sweet knife, and now you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
They both kind of look like peckerheads, to be honest.
Yeah, but Travis looks like the kind of peckerhead that is diligent and like a nerd about this stuff.
No, he looks like the definition of the guy in the movie who like will lose.
Well, they're both losers in this scenario.
His character in the movie has never won. Like the instant you see, that's Commodore Norrington from the fucking Jack Sparrow movies. Like he just doesn't win.
Okay. I see it, but I also think that Bowie looks like too much of a hothead. Taking a knife in your picture? Get out of here, man.
I mean that's fair, but it's a pretty sweet knife, dude.
It's a sweet knife. You just don't elect that guy as your leader because he'll go get drunk.
Co-leader.
Producer Noah just chimed in and said that the Bowie knife is named after him.
That changes so much in Jim's head. Thank you. That's a mic drop.
I don't want him being a leader.
He's an inventor. He's a genius.
Not an inventor. He just had the knife out that much.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, back to earlier than that. Like the whole plan seems so avoidable. We don't have enough supplies. We don't have enough men. This isn't make or break for the battle. Okay. Retreat?
Yeah, I think that's conflicting with the letter and then the guy being like, hey, I'm going to run into town because we need more help. Like, that's the red flag.
Yeah. All right. On February 21st, while Colonel Neal was still working in the provisional government to secure more defensive supplies, Santa Anna and his vanguard reached the banks of the Medina River, 25 miles from Bexar. That river name is cool. The Medina River. That's the first name. The Alamo and the Medina River. Am I saying it right? Medina. Next up, the siege. By late afternoon of February 23rd, Bexar was occupied by about 1,500 Mexican soldiers led by General Santa Anna. Texan scouts had warned of the incoming force hours earlier, and the garrison had consolidated all its weapons and troops inside the Alamo to prepare for the assault. Good job by the scouts. Hey, they got 1,500 soldiers coming our way. Let's bunker down. So I can give a round of applause for them.
Okay.
When the Mexican troops raised a blood red flag, signifying no quarter, no prisoners, any captured soldier would be killed, Co-Commander Travis responded with a blast from the Alamo's largest cannon. In the movie scene, this is probably very fake, but it's like where Travis, they're all like fumbling and they have no direction. And Travis is like, let's fucking get him. And then he wins over all their respect.
No, see, you have this all wrong. When everyone sees the red flag go up, everyone's like, oh shit. Because normally I think battle has a little bit of a fun side to it. It's like, okay, if I get captured, I'll be over there. But when the red flag comes up, everyone's dead. So I think there's a moment when everyone looks around and is like, hey, should we talk about this? And your boy Travis just lets it rip with the biggest cannon. You have Travis and Bowie confused in your head right now, personality-wise.
Jake, once the red flag goes up, it's not like they can be like, just joking, we surrender. Once that flag's up, they're
That's
dead.
That's exactly what they can do. You bail. You get the hell out of Dodge. You give them the fort.
They're surrounded by 1,500 Mexican troops who say there will be no surrenders. We're killing all of you. Their only option is to fight back. That's not like a, hey,
they're surrounded. They're coming from one direction.
It's not, yeah, but they can easily
But they want the fort. So you bail. You go the other way. You go get help.
There was no option. It's not like a 2-minute warning. Like, hey, if you surrender now, it's cool. It's like you lost your chance. We're killing all of you.
I mean, I can't believe you're siding with the guy who's like, oh, red flag, fire the big cannon. Like, that's not a plan. That's how you had Bowie pegged before.
They were dead.
SMH.
There was no
giant misread.
There's no surrender at this point. It's not an option.
Let's run. They want the fort. You get out of the fort. Problem solved.
So at this point, Santa Anna didn't want just the fort. He wanted to send a message to anyone that was going to go against the Mexican army and these rebellions. Like, the plan wasn't just, if they all ran in one direction, they would have chased them and killed them all. That red flag means red flag. It doesn't mean 2 minutes, otherwise red flag. It's red flag.
Fire the big cannon. Your solution works.
No, because they should have all been gone already.
Fire the big cannon.
What's that, Noah? You don't run away from the red flag.
Yes, you do.
You should, but they can't. They'll just be dead.
No, you get out of there. They get the fort. They start celebrating. You fight another day, man.
They should have done that way far ago.
I'm telling you, you are pissed off when you see that guy fire the cannon. If you're in there,
I'm not in there. I'm a pussy. I would.
That's what I'm saying.
Weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying.
So, Bowie sent one of his men to meet with Santa Anna, and Travis was angered that Bowie had actually unilaterally and sent his own representative. Jesus Christ. So now they're both sending their own representative to go meet with Santa Anna. And both emissaries, I've never seen that word spelled out, met with Colonel Juan Alamo and Jose Bartres of the advancing Mexican force. The Texans asked for an honorable surrender and were given the following response. So here's the surrender.
Well, why'd we still fire the giant cannon if we're surrendering? That's what I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have two leaders. We can all agree with that. This
is still your same guy.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my thing. Bowie didn't realize that by writing that letter and by getting troops and by occupying it, by loading the cannons, he dug himself in. So now the war comes and now Bowie's like, wait, let's surrender. Dude, this is all your fault. You're trying to surrender way too late. You could have left when the government was like, nah, dude, we don't think it's that important. We're not going to send you supplies. That was Bowie's chance to surrender. Now that the army actually shows up, he turns into a little bitch. And Travis is like, hey, I thought the plan was...
He called chicken. I don't say you're wrong with that part, but you got to know, then he's like, oh, shoot, we should bail. And when he says we should bail, your boy's off firing the cannon and partying.
Because he's like, I thought we were here to fight. I joined this party because of your plan, Bowie.
No, because he's soft. He got nervous. He's the guy with the shaky hand who fires the gun first that accidentally starts the war.
No,
that's
Bowie.
No, you have it reversed, man.
So this was the response by Jose Bautez.
And my apologies to the Almonte family. That was a bad slaughter.
Almonte? What did I say?
Alomonta.
Whoa. Alomonta. Yeah. Reading's tough. Can you give us your Spanish accent here with Jose Bautez reply?
The salvation of Texas depends in great measure on keeping Bexar.
Wait. You're way off. I reply to you.
I reply to you. Oh, I scrolled up to clear up the miscommunication in the people here. I reply to you, according to the order of His Excellency, that the Mexican army cannot come to terms under any conditions with rebellious foreigners to whom there is no recourse left, if they wish to save their lives, than to place themselves immediately at the disposal of the supreme government, from whom alone they may expect clemency after some considerations.
Yeah. So they were basically like, no.
Yeah, no. See,
because,
and then we team up here.
Because the Alamo, like Santana said, like, this isn't a good fort. Like, this isn't a good place to hung. This is
a church, basically.
Yeah, they didn't want the Alamo. They wanted to send the message that we're going to slaughter you if you go against the Mexican army. So that's what I'm saying. Once they hunker down.
And that's why I'm saying you run away from those people, because I don't want to get slaughtered.
But, okay. Bowie spent weeks telling all his men, we're going to defend this place. We're going to fight. So he has them all brainwashed.
I've already got the producers on my side. I'm moved on.
It's bad. Bowie was an idiot. On learning this, Bowie and Travis mutually agree to fire the cannon again. Nearly a month passed with continuous skirmishes and cannon fire. A month? So now they all could have run away.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
Santa Anna believed that although he was losing men to these skirmishes, it would eventually pay off as the Texan force would be weakened when he began his final assault. Yeah, I mean, like the Zombieland, it's obvious that he's going to win. Why do you even do the skirmishes in the first place? Why not just do the full assault? He must have been waiting for something. Santa Anna was waiting for reinforcements? Okay, so he needed more men. So, I mean, the skirmishes seem a little on that. Well, I guess he's picking them off bit by bit. And then he's going to get, when he has reinforcements. The Alamo people are all fucked. Do you want to read this one? This is the next. Oh, wait, no. In his famous letter to the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, Travis wrote this. Here you go, Jake.
I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character. I don't know what voice that is. To come to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and that of his country, the victory of death.
Stupid.
No accent there because I got so lost in the last accent. I had no idea what the Mexican letter said.
All right, man, I feel like we're being real mean to the Alamo people, but like, how are they not? Why are they still defending this place? There's so much time. And also, I call bullshit on Travis. Like, how does he know how many soldiers they have. There's not satellite pictures where they can like take a picture and count it. Like, how the fuck did people count opposing forces soldiers?
Well, he aimed big and missed small. I mean, I think the number we were told was 1,500, so he told the world 4,000 or 5,000.
1,500 was the first time they went, and then they waited a month for reinforcements. So it could be correct. I just don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is. I think you just aim big so you get the most reinforcements you can get.
Do you think at any point, because we know that they use this as a rallying cry the rest of the way, remember the Alamo. Do you think at any point Sam Houston and the higher ups were like, hey, let's let these dudes die like idiots and then we'll turn them into heroes and use it as a rallying cry? Because they clearly had no interest in helping them. They clearly did not see why the hell the Alamo mattered. They would have sent help if they thought it was worthwhile. And then they used them as a rallying cry later on. Was this a strategy?
I think you're missing the age-old Jake adage of we forget how dumb people are. And I mean, look at what he signed his letter with: victory or death. Like, there was pride in dying back then. So I think they were just leaning that way.
Yeah, just like they've tried to get help so many times. And everyone's been like, it's not important, guys. Just leave the Alamo.
Please.
It's a dumb church in the middle of nowhere.
There's guns facing the wrong way. Get out of there.
All right, so now we start the siege. Let's see. Although a few groups of reinforcements would break through Mexican lines and join the defenders in the Alamo. Oh, so see, to get defenders, they're surrounded. So the Mexican has them completely surrounded. So that's why they can't really run. That's what the red flag meant. So to get reinforcements, you had to go through the Mexican army and then go to the death island of the Alamo. Show me that idiot.
Yeah.
Jesus. Break it. All right. On March 4th, 1836, the day after his reinforcements arrived, Santa Anna ordered the final assault on the Alamo to begin the next day. At 5:30 a.m. on March 5th, happy birthday, Jeff Krause, or is he March 4th? Mexican troops silently advanced. A silent advance is creepy. It's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Kind of badass. The three Texan sentinels stationed outside the walls were killed in their sleep. Whoa.
You got to be on a little higher alert than that.
The first line of defense just got killed in their sleep?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a bad look. You got to have shifts.
Holy smoke. Which allowed Mexican soldiers to approach undetected within musket range of the walls. At this point, the silence was broken by shouts of "Viva Santa Ana!"
They could have taken this whole thing silently, it sounds like, and then there'd be no story.
They wanted the story. That's the thing. They didn't care about taking the Alamo. They wanted everyone to know we just slaughtered you guys because you rebelled against us. And then music from the buglers started. The noise woke the Texans. Most of the non-combatants gathered in the church sacristy for safety. Like, you had non-combat people at the Alamo. Travis and Bowie both are negligent, man. Just terrible leaders. Travis rushed to his post yelling, "Come on, boys, the Mexicans are upon us and we'll give them hell." And as he passed a group of Tejanos, there's no way I said it.
You were all over it, yeah.
Is it no rendirse, muchachos?
Rendirse? I don't know.
Rendirse, I didn't know either. Since you guys are, there's parentheses where Noah says that means don't surrender, boys. A lacking canister shot. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Texans filled their cannon with any metal they could find. I'm getting angry, Jake. I'm getting real angry that these guys are...
There's pride in losing the fight, man, that you and I don't have.
I'm getting so frustrated with these Texans at the Alamo. They filled their cannon with any metal they could find, including door hinges, nails, and chopped up horseshoes, essentially turning the cannon into giant shotguns. As the troops massed against the walls, Texans were forced to lean over the walls to shoot, leaving them exposed to Mexican fire. Travis became one of the first occupiers to die, shot while firing his shotgun into the soldiers below him. So, at least he went out fighting. I'll give him that. I mean,
he was a sad person. He lived a sad life. He was ready to die.
When I need to die first. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want anyone pointing their finger at me.
Not drag it out.
Yeah. As previously planned, the Mexican soldiers overwhelmed the defenders on the walls. Most of the Texans fell back to the barracks and the chapel. Holes had been carved in the walls to allow the Texans to fire. Smart. They did that, but they didn't get any cannonballs. No. The last Texan group to remain in the open were Davy Crockett and his men. Unable to reload, they used their rifles as clubs and fought with knives. Too sick to participate in the battle, Bowie likely died on his cot, back braced against the wall and using his pistols and his famous knife. Bowie was such a little bitch, huh?
Dude, I can't believe how poorly you have the light on Bowie. Bowie is sick. He's got the flu. He's in bed with a pistol and a knife, just shooting and knifing until he goes down. That's as badass as it gets.
Also, the sole reason this is happening.
Yeah, and your guy, for sure. Absolutely.
My guy wouldn't be there if Bowie didn't start it.
Your guy is suicidal, and he was excited for this to come down on him.
Jesus Christ. Bowie he killed all his troops.
The man. I agree.
If he didn't write that, jeez. Bowie's the one that...
the letter.
His letter was the whole reason. He said, the Alamo's important. We must defend it. And the Texan government said, nah, it's not, dude. We don't care. And he's like, I'm going to defend it anyway.
He was keeping morale up with the guys. Because they were following a suicidal leader.
And then he faked sick, so he didn't actually have to fight?
He was sick as a dog. Just
drunk.
Pistol. It's the final, isn't it the last thing in Black Hawk Down, something like that?
Yeah, but that guy wasn't hungover and sick.
He wasn't, neither was my guy. He was sick.
Oh, okay.
Wow, rewrite history.
Drunk. Let's see. Too sick to participate in the battle. Bowie died in his cot, back braced against the wall, using his pistols, fighting with a knife. Okay. We have a nice picture of Davy Crockett fighting. For the next hour, the Mexican army worked to secure complete control of the Alamo. By 6:30 a.m., the battle for the Alamo was over. 6:30 a.m. finish? Jeez. Mexican soldiers inspected each corpse, bayoneting anybody that moved. Even with all of the Texans dead, Mexican soldiers continued to shoot, some killing each other in the confusion. Well, this whole thing was an idiot fest.
This Exhibit A. You go back in time, people get more and more dumb.
Mexican generals were unable to stop the bloodlust and had to appeal for Santa Anna to show himself to regain control. So the Mexican soldiers were so blood hungry, they were firing on themselves and they wouldn't even listen to their generals. So Santa Anna had to come. You got to kill those generals. I mean, if I know anything about army and maintaining order, those guys are out. At least send them down. Nevertheless,
30 days. They were hungry dogs.
Right. The Alamo had fallen, with the exception of a few women and children who had hidden out in the church alongside some slaves. Every Texan in the Alamo was dead. And here's the thing you have to remember. They all died, so history gets written by the winners. Yet somehow we get like this bravery, how do we know Bowie was fighting in his bed? He could have just been laying there and his weapons were by his side. Who reported that? The Mexicans surely weren't. So it sounds to me like that's the marketing campaign of win it for the Alamo. Bowie went fighting in his sleep sick. Who knows? Who would report that?
He was probably we have the women and children and slaves that it seems like they were involved in some sort, and they ran to the church at the start of the battle.
Yeah, they ran
but
away.
They would know Bowie was sick.
Yes, but I'm saying we don't know that he was fighting from his bed. That's just, it could be true, but just marketing.
I mean, what if one of the slaves or women says, "Hey, is Bowie okay? He was really sick in bed," and they were like, "Oh, he was a scrappy bastard."
Who says he was a scrappy bastard?
The Mexicans.
Why would they don't care?
They say, "Oh, that guy in that room that was in his bed jerking off and shooting at us."
Who are they saying this to? Who are the Mexicans giving a report to?
Everyone has a conversation. Like, what do you think goes on after this? It's like a night out of drinking times a million. Like, instead of powwowing with your bros, you're powwowing with everyone. And like, do you see the sick guy in the room holding his knife? What was that about? Okay, and then you go and ask the slaves and the women, and they're like, "Oh, that's Bowie. He's a nut job.
You think
he was sick as a dog."
You think the Mexicans were just chopping it up with the slaves and the women's
battle? What do you think they were doing? Watching TV?
I think they were running the fuck away, and the Mexicans were ramping up for the next battle.
No, they were chilling out. You gotta relax after battle, dude.
Going to the local watering hole and just traded names.
You gotta chill out. What do you think happens after battle?
I think the Mexicans hung out with themselves, and I think the people that escaped ran the fuck away.
I don't think they escaped. I'm assuming the Mexicans kept them with them.
Didn't it say they escaped? So they let them go to spread the word.
Yeah, there you go.
So the impact on the Texan Revolution. General Santa Anna had purposely spared the number of the women, children, and slaves hiding in the church as he intended to send them into Texas to retell the battle, with word that his army was unbeatable. News of the Alamo's fall had the opposite effect, however, and men flocked to join the Texas army. The Post reported, had Santa Anna treated the vanquished with moderation and generosity, it would have been difficult, if not impossible, to awaken that general sympathy for the people of Texas, which now impels so many adventurous and ardent spirits to throng to the aid of their brethren. So him having no mercy and all that showed the opposite. I believe that. Like, you know.
Talk about an idiot fest. A guy saying, this is a guy pissing off Texas. This telling Texas that you'll never beat us. That's
he didn't understand.
Dumb as it goes. Yeah.
On the afternoon of April 21st, the Texan army attacked Santa Anna's camp, taking them by surprise and defeating them in just 18 minutes. And just pains me, man. The Alamo wasn't worth it. There was no point to defend the Alamo. They win in 18 minutes the Battle of San Jacinto. During the fighting, many of the Texan soldiers repeatedly cried, "Remember the Alamo!" as they slaughtered fleeing Mexican troops. Santa Anna's life was spared, and he was forced to order his troops out of Texas, ending Mexican control of the province and bestowing some legitimacy on the new republic. So they might have been saying, "Remember the Alamo." But in reality, the Texas Army was like, "Cool, you slaughtered our, elementary school with no real defenses. They were shooting forks and knives at you. Congrats."
The only guy we cared about in there was Bowie, you assholes, and now we're fighting.
They were like, "Congrats on beating the 100 guys shooting forks and knives at you. We didn't care about that place. We wrote Bowie repeatedly. Leave.
And now we have to kill you.
We were going to beat you no matter what." So, crazy. 18-minute battle didn't even make sense.
That's a big one-upper. Because think about it. The first one was an hour. This one was 18 minutes. Don't mess with Texas, man.
Yeah.
It's literally a bumper sticker.
Some interesting tidbits. Travis drew a line in the dirt? Maybe. At some point on March 5th, with the attack imminent, Commander William Travis drew a line in the sand with his sword and asked all of the defenders who were willing to fight to the death to cross it. Only one man refused, Moses Rose. Legendary frontierman and co-commander Jim Bowie, suffering from a debilitating illness, asked to be carried over the line. None of that's true. I just want to make sure that if you believe that 100%, that, it's just not.
So why do you feel that's so false?
Because you have to think about who's telling this story and what's to gain by sharing this story. And they all died. So the only people are the wife and children. And the only reason that they're sharing the story is to speak highly of the people that were involved and motivate future people. So you have to think about who's telling it, why they're telling it. And like, could it have happened? Sure. Would I bank that it happened? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The only problem is that this probably didn't happen. The story surfaced decades later after the battle in a third-hand account. No primary sources from the battle ever mention it. However, Travis apparently did, at some point prior to the final assault, assemble the men for a conference to inform them of the dire situation and giving them the chance to either escape or stay and die for the cause. Susanna Dickinson, one of the women who survived, recalled Travis announcing that any men who wished to escape should let it be known and step out of ranks. And that's much more reasonable for that to have happened. Yeah. Tidbit number 2. The Alamo was never supposed to be occupied. General Sam Houston, who would later become the first president of the Republic of Texas after the Revolution, thought that holding the city of Bexar was a grand old waste of time, and he actually sent James Bowie to destroy the Alamo. However, once there, Bowie and Travis recognized the strategic importance of the fort and chose to ignore his orders, hunking down with the defenders. So Bowie and Travis are idiots.
Yep.
What a waste of time. Jeez. Another tidbit.
It's Travis being suicidal, man.
They're both idiots. 2 different idiots on different personalities.
Yep.
This is the only known Alamo film that was actually filmed at the Alamo. It was filmed in 1914. It was called The Siege and Fall of the Alamo. 4 production stills, a small review, and an advert from the local newspaper and a stock certificate issued to the Siege and Fall of the Alamo Motion Picture Company remain. But hold on. 1913 is for certain about the lost independent. No known copy of the silent film exists. So when did the Alamo take place?
1880, 1838, something like that. 1836.
Oh, so I'm not good at math, but we're like 60, 70 years after.
80 years later, yeah.
Okay. 80 years later, they thought it was time to be told. Would people still be alive? Sure. Definitely heard it from people that were alive. The film was made with a cast of 2,000 actors and more than $35,000, which is under $1 million in 2016. Did I have pictures from that? I don't know if I did. But there are some stills still there. The guy who played Crockett, 1914, huh? It's kind of cool that they were at the Alamo.
Yeah, good for 1914, man.
I want to see if I don't know if I do not know if would you want to watch this if you could get your hands on it? Silent
the
film.
One copy? Yeah. I guess I would. It's probably terrible.
Oh, yeah. Probably terrible. And like, I don't know. We talked about dumbness, right? Probably
Yeah.
so dumb. Probably so. Like, I think like Texas pride is actually dulled in the days, and I can only imagine. Here's the guy who played Davy Crockett.
I mean, that guy looks like the king.
Yeah, it's a sweet picture. Let me zoom in on it.
It's kind of a good hipster look nowadays.
Look at that guy.
It's like a Elvis James Dean type, man.
He's a star of the silent movies.
How crazy is it that movies were silent? Boring.
Yeah, right. It still blows my mind that like we have a record player. And it's just so stupid, man. Like, how's that thing make noise when a needle glides along?
Yeah.
How do you put noise on it? And then it comes back. It's just, technology's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been such an naysayer.
Oh, yeah.
Guy was like, hey, we can put see what you're saying right now, I can put that on this piece of plastic. Like, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
You're dumb. Don't tell me that.
That's impossible.
Do you think anyone came to this podcast and they're like, I love the Alamo, I want to hear about it, and then just got like boiling mad at me?
Boiling mad at both of us, yes.
Okay.
I think all of Bowie's ancestors are friends of mine, and I welcome them because their family has a knife named after them. All of Colonel William Travis's suicidal ancestors hate me. Yeah, I don't know. The Alamo's a whole weird thing because, like, why does it even have that big of a place in history? Just because of the story?
They used it as a rallying cry, you know, they used it as bulletin board material. But
Right.
I honestly want to know, and I wonder if this has been posed. Historians pose every question. Did
Right.
Sam Houston think it was good to have a cause? And did he know if we don't help these guys, it won't hurt our chances or anything at all, but it might help? Because he clearly had no interest in helping them survive. He was like, run away. Guys, run away.
Right. We don't care about the Alamo. I think the bigger thing is, I mean, you know, they sent out one chain email and they got an army big enough to take them down in 18 minutes. So in that regard, I think Sam Houston was like, you know what? Let's let it play out. Maybe they do something good. I think it was kind of a win-win for Sam Houston.
That's what I think.
Okay, this is not the first time that you guys have taken generally agreed upon heroes of America and flipped it on them in the podcast. So Mo Berg vibes.
Oh, Mo Berg was a loser. For this one, I've just never thought of the Alamo in this sense. I'd only thought of it in the sense of like it needed to be defended. I didn't realize how much Sam Houston was like, we don't care. And that kind of changes the whole entire story.
I think that's fair. Let's just be careful of not making it a trend to not defend American heroes.
And there's a lot of moving parts that don't add up. Like if this place was nothing, like why is Davy Crockett involved? Like the only freeze frame we got of Davy Crockett in this was like him and his dudes fought hard.
If I remember correctly from the episode about Davy Crockett, he was a headline slut. And he was all about good press because he was running for campaigns and governors and whatever. And, you know, if there was a front lines movement that was getting a lot of attention, Crockett had to be there, if I remember correctly. And then he was there and he was like, oh, shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be my counter. Every politician's one motive is to get reelected. And with the sinking ship of the Alamo, that doesn't seem right. So maybe it was a misplayed hand by him. Yeah, I don't know. I think both, as Luke mentioned, both of these people, each of them got love, each of them got hate.
Yeah.
I also think, Jimmy, your point earlier about, you know, Travis and Bowie's co-captainship of the Alamo, like, did not help the situation at all.
Yeah, I think they were both doomed from the start because the guy, their higher up, said don't do this. And both of them were trying to be like, no, we're going to do it. And then they couldn't even decide on who was going to lead the failed mission. So they had two different failed mission leaders. Classic case. So sorry, anyone that's trying to remember the Alamo not in the light we painted.
For all of our new San Antonio listeners, we're sorry.
Whew. All right. That was Laughs from the Past. We will be back next week with another one.